All right, first off, we gotta get this thing prepped. So we're gonna look at getting that sucker off right there. I think it's pretty simple. And this is how I do it here. Just, you know, you get your knife. You can take this right here, and it just pops through. And it should come off just like that. It's pretty cool. All right, also on this, get it wiped off. Better make sure it's clean. I'll show you. I'm gonna shut my fan off. See, it's my fan blasting it everywhere. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, still blasting. All right, a little bit better. Let's go ahead and just do this right here. So you're gonna want a little bit of oxygen coming out, and you want to see this. That's about as heavy as you want. You can see the stuff that's coming off that. And I really hope you all have some ventilation. I mean, that's the basics of this stuff here. You don't want to be breathing none of this stuff in and breathe it in. So that looks kind of cool right there. Yeah, so check it out. When you introduce this into the flame, this flame isn't that hot. You'll see when you start to poke this in that flame, and again, you don't want to just blast it in there because it's going to blast, it's going to bust. You got to kind of give it kisses of the torch. And this carbon on here, this black, a lot of people say, what's the black on there? It's AI. Holy cow, it's AI. No, it's not AI. This black on here is called carbon. And it's kind of like a warming layer. You'll see when you start doing this, the glass has kind of like a ghost effect right here. When you're introducing this heat into that glass, it's doing something. I don't know the name of it. I just know it's doing something. And you just gotta let it, you don't want to go in front of that. See that little ghostly looking thing is like right here? You don't want to go in front of that with your flame. This is just, again, very low heat. This is not a high heat at all. So, again, just like warm it up. Don't get too crazy, adding all that oxygen. Just gonna kind of zoom in a little bit so y'all can see what I'm doing here. Again, it's just, you're barely even introducing the heat into it. You don't want to just blast the heat on it because it's going to break. People ask me, you know, why does the bottle break? Because it's not supposed to be, number one, this isn't supposed to be remelted again. Never intended for that at all. So you've got to act like a sorcerer to get this thing not to break. All right, now that that's established, you know, that carbon layer, go ahead and just add a little bit of gas. Not a lot, just a little bit. Just a little bit, not a bunch. And start just on the tip. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You don't want to be going and blasting on the bottle because it's still cold in these areas right here. Not cold, it's not warm enough for it to withstand this kind of heat. Again, this is my opinions on these things. I've been doing, you know, these things for years. Thousands of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of bottles. Yes, thousands. They're like, no way you've done that many bottles, mister. Yeah, I have. No way. Yeah. So again, just that radiance in the front. Not a lot of anything else. And just slowly introduce it. Because you can put your hand right up here. Because look, it's like ice cold right there. Still ice cold. Right there. So you don't, if I put that flame back there, breakaroo. See ya. No more coyote slayer. Goodbye. Add a little bit more heat. Oh, now if you see that gas starting to choke out like that right down there, add a little bit more oxygen, just a little. Don't get crazy, because when you pump that in there, it's hot. And again, it's one of those things where you can go ahead and just take your time. There's no need to rush it. You see, I mean, I've got hundreds of bottles here, but so you don't have that. You've got like 6. But you just gotta thrash yourself to drink, and then you gotta, and then yeah, you don't want to become an alcoholic just so you can milk bottles, right? For all of you that don't know me, I don't drink much. And for you to acquire these bottles, it's just a nice, kind heart to go to a local bar or whatever gathering that they have the bottles there. Just ask them, look, here's my dragons. I'll give you some. You can sell them here at your facility. Just a cool idea. A lot of them go for it, and they save the bottles for you. I gave them, all my people, a bin. I gave them a bin so they could put it in there. I just thought it was always an inconvenience, but realistically, they're helping a local artist. All right, now that I got this off of my jibber jabber, now that I got this, you see that carbon coming off there? That's about time then. Go ahead and add that oxygen. And again, I'm back to what I said earlier, y'all, about the ventilation. Come on, you gotta have ventilation. You can do it outside or something like that, but still recommended inside here. I've got quite a bit of money, probably $10,000 in the ventilation that's up here. The hood and the 5 screaming banshee cyclones that are up there sucking all the air out. You gotta go by CFM, which is cubic feet a minute. It's really important to do this if you're doing this like full time, if you're doing it at all. I have a hard time with all this stuff anyway because I deal with welding. I weld on a daily, so you got to be careful with all those fumes. Be as cautious as possible. See that little white ring I told you about earlier? It's down here right now. I just seen it. It does something weird. So you see how I'm kind of like doing the twisty twist? Warm up your tools too, because you touch that hot glass with that cold steel. This is tungsten. I don't know if y'all knew that. This is tungsten. This is something that I made myself. It's just kind of wackadoo. I don't know if I'm too zoomed in here or what. I'm good. All right. So she's starting to get a little mushy. I can see the moistness. I'm gonna make a dragon. Shocker. People are like, you make anything else, man? I make dragons, swordfish, flowers, working on that stinking duck. I've been working on a swan, and that swan, it's hard because it's like, you can make it look like a pterodactyl head, like in a 1 second. You're looking like you're stretching out pterodactyl. So yeah, see, check it out. I'm adding that little bit of that oxygen, not like super hardcore straight blue flame. I'm gonna get some Dydy clips for this soon here so I can film and you guys can see what is actually going on behind this flame, because that sodium flare is pretty loud. I know it is right now. I've got my didymium glasses on right now. They're shade 3 as well. See how it's kind of like going back and forth. It'll start getting like really crispy and frosty on top of it. And if I'm moving fast, that means I've got to keep up with the flow of that neck moving everywhere like a... Okay. Now when I'm pulling this thing, I'm looking at the tube, you know. You gotta really focus on the tube to make sure it stays, it doesn't collapse. If it starts to collapse and it touches itself, and if the tube or the glass touches itself in mid-pull, you can get it straight. See how I got it a little bit offline? Whatever. So And this is, again, this is a fast process, so it's like, and again, I've done this quite a few times. I always heat up the bottom first, pull my lower jaw first, just like this. Get in there, and then slowly pull it down. Try not to touch this glass down here, down there with your tweezers, because you introduce, again, you're getting cold, and it's so cold down there already. It's lost hundreds and hundreds of degrees of temperature instantly the second it's pulled. And that's the reason why people fail on these, because they rush the process, or their tools are cold. There's so many things. You see how I'm going as fast as I can. I'm gonna do this back horn first. Again, heat up the tungsten as well. First pull. These are a lot easier to do if I ain't gotta do a bunch of editing and stuff. That's probably why a lot of these things fail on screen, or on when I'm recording them, because I'm having such a time lapse in between them. And again, this is a process that should be done fast. And I can do a lot better job on my dragons if I have a little bit of extra time and I don't have to do so much in between. Okay, so I'm gonna do the sides now, the side horns. And these guys here are a little tricky because you're on the neck of the bottle where the threads are, and it's super thick right there. If you get too much heat on it, you're gonna go to Liquidville, and you're gonna, this horn will push out 4 inches in a second, because the glass is so soft. You've got to work with it. See how I'm twisting that tungsten out of there too, because they'll get stuck in there, and then it's done. Once it cools off in there, it'll just stop and stick to it. So that's it right there. Yeah. Bam! That's a cool one. That's a nice one. Yeah, so that's it right there, what you just seen me do. That's the ventilation up there. And it's monstrous. This is a industrial size hood. Yep. Okay, it's cracking right now as we're speaking. So it did something right here. You can see it's starting to, it's starting to grow, the crack. Not sure why. A lot of these bottles, they just won't sit still because they're not level on the bottom. Yeah, you can see the crack right there. It's starting to form. So again, there's a percentage of these that do make it, and a large percentage that don't make them, make the cut. So just me blabbing my mouth like that probably was the cause and effect of that thing cracking. So thanks for watching, y'all.